Carl, I heard the most incredible story about how you met Tupac at a hotel in Beverly Hills, and it would be just so great if you could share it with my followers today. Hello my loves, and welcome to another live with Kim Jade. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Kanai's in the building. What?
In the house, without a doubt. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for tuning into our live today.
Thank you. It's great to be here with all my people. It's so cool.
Before you came on, I just gave everybody a little bit of a background. You know, you're born in Costa Rica, moved to the States where you were 3 years old, and then you started making your own. Then you moved to LA in 1989, started your own retail store, which was actually, you guys were actually robbed at gunpoint, I believe, right?
We were, yeah. It's right on Crenshaw Boulevard. It was like right down the block from where Nipsey Hussle store is, the Marathon store. The same area, same location, yeah.
And then Cross Color partnered with you. You were 50-50 with them for 3 years, I believe?
Yes,
Yes, and then the owner of Skechers came on board and was like, we need to make some Carl Kanai footwear.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, that happened like 1994. Yeah.
And then by then, the biggest icons in hip hop were wearing your clothing. Aaliyah she literally wore Carl Kanai on the cover of her album. Tupac was shot in your clothing, and same with Biggie. Incredible. Your career is insane.
Yeah, it's so surreal. You know, I just kind of like take everything in the moment and live in the moment. And, you know, like I feel like when you put hard work and energy into anything, things will kind of manifest into the direction that you want it to go into. And nothing is given to you. You got to go out there and work hard for it and go out there and take success. Because, you know, I find that sometimes people want success to be handed to them. And that's not the way it works, unfortunately, unless you're lucky enough to win lotto. Other than that, you got to kind of put the work in to really reap the benefits of energy in this world, for sure. Yeah.
Carl, I heard the most incredible story about how you met Tupac at a hotel in Beverly Hills, and it would be just so great if you could share it with my followers today.
Yeah, well, definitely, you know, Tupac used to wear my clothing all the time, and, you know, I really want to meet this guy. And back in the days, there was no cell phone, there was no beeper, there was no two-way pager to contact anyone, so they had to contact the record company, and they set up a meeting with Tupac in Hotel Nico in Beverly Hills. So we go to his room, I knock on the door, and he says, come in, and we come into his room. It was the first time we're meeting face-to-face, and he was typing a script to a movie in his room, and we're having a very intelligent conversation, but the guy would never look at me, right? We never made eye contact. So I'm trying to like feel him out. And we're both are Geminis. I think we both are trying to feel each other out, sort of. So I was waiting for the opportunity to ask him a question, and room service came to the room and knocked on the door, and they was like, I was like, okay, here's my chance. I was like, yo, Pop, how much would you charge me to do an ad for you? I do an ad for my company. He gets real quiet. He goes, man, I ain't gonna charge you nothing, you black. I don't charge my peoples for nothing. And I was like stunned when he said that. Tupac could have said any price to do the campaign. He was so real. Then he says, hold up, I want one thing. I was like, oh boy, here we go. He says, yo, I want you to put Thug Life, my group, in some of the ads with me. And then after that, I said, that's it? He's like, that's it. Then that broke the ice, became really cool. Then he started visually directing the whole photo shoot right there. He came up with all these ideas of how he wanted the photo shoot to come out. And everything he said happened. We went to New York, we did the photo shoot. He was on top of the basketball rim. He just kind of manifested the whole look. It was really dope, yeah.
I mean, it speaks so much to the fact that you are now known as the godfather of streetwear. And what's amazing about you is that you had the foresight to see the hip hop artists and rappers like Pac and Biggie, LL Cool J. You know, hip hop was becoming a major mainstream thing. And you were the person to be like, actually, I want to mess with them. I want to give them my clothing. I want them to rep Carl Kanai. Because as I understand, the major designer brands at the time weren't really messing with the rappers.
No, not at all. No designer back then wanted hip-hop artists in their clothes. First of all, no one thought hip-hop was going to last, for one. They felt like if hip-hop artists started wearing their brands, it would deter their original custom from wearing their brands. So they didn't want to be associated with hip-hop artists. And the reason why I embraced the culture, because that's how we grew up. We grew up around hip-hop artists. We grew up in the inner city. And we wanted to see ourselves featured in clothing ads and advertisements, which we weren't. We were only consumers. So there was two ways we could have went about this. We could have sat around and complain about things, which sometimes is what we do as people. We complain about things, or you could take an action and go do something about it. So I said, I'm gonna go out there and make my own clothes, put my name on it, make it better than Tommy Hilfiger, make it better than Ralph Lauren, and give people another option as a designer they could buy with the fit and culture and whole nostalgia together. And that's the reason why it worked. And that's why we are the originators, because before Carl Kanai, there was no other designer who embraced the culture the way that we did. really, truly part of the culture from day one. Not trying to just reap benefits from it from today, and when it's not hot, move on to part of something else, you know? Yeah.
For sure. And 3 decades on, this is a global multi-million-dollar brand, which has led the way, you know, for the FUBUs of the world and all of the street culture brands that we know today. You met with Kanye just after he dropped Through the Wire around 2005, and you had a sit-down conversation about your brand and how you built it. And at the time, Kanye was talking about how he wanted to go into clothing. This is before Yeezy even existed. And you say that he manifested everything he spoke about in that conversation. He's now on the cover of Forbes as a billionaire, you know, and Kanye said in that conversation with you, he wanted to be the Jay-Z of streetwear, of clothing and fashion. How does it feel for you to now watch major brands be led by men of color? Olivier is the head of Balmain, Virgil is up there at Louis Vuitton Men, Kanye is doing so well with Yeezy. How does it feel to watch the change and the progression and see how far we've come?
I think it's an awesome experience. It's awesome to see these things happen. And I think what's even more real is that, you know, the culture, it shows you how powerful the culture is once we stick together and how much force we have in the garment industry and the fashion brand business. And I tell you about the conversation with Kanye is like, yeah, everything he said, he made it happen. He's another Gemini as well, just like Tupac. So we all kind of have this little weird Zen thing in our relationships. But he came, he saw, and he conquered what he wanted to do. And I feel like most people have this within them, but a lot of people don't want to stick through the tough times to get through the good times. Because it's not all the roses getting to the mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of go through the process. And I think if anything I can instill into anyone, once you make that a decision to become a businessman, take everything that goes along with it and charge it to the game, because it's going to be ups and downs, but you could definitely be successful in this business once you believe in yourself and understand that you got to learn how to take a couple of bumps and bruises along the road to get to the top, for sure.
Is there value in having these major celebrities endorse your brand? Do you think it's needed? Does it take it to the next level?
I don't necessarily know if it's needed to take it to the next level. I think design and quality and concepts are more important. But celebrity endorsements, they definitely are very helpful. And if you pick the right type of celebrities, pick celebrities that kind of mixes the styles of your brand. And it has like the chemical makeup of what you want to deliver. Not everybody's going to be good to be a brand, to endorse your brand. Like with Karl Kani, my target market was hip hop. You know, that's what we grew up on, and hip hop artists was our focus point in all of our clothing advertisements and stuff like that. And not only that too, we open the doors up for a lot of young black models. A lot of models you see in my fashion shows we post on TV, on YouTube. It's for the 90s. These are the first time these guys ever walked down the runway. They never had any, there was no other designers asking them to walk down the runway. These are just regular street dudes. Like, yo, I look good, I got a good body, I want to walk down the runway. I'm like, come on in. So we started bringing them in, and some of these guys end up blowing up. You know the model Tyson Bedford, right?
Yes, of course.
He was like the first black major supermodel for Ralph Lauren. He's the model for Karl Kani prior to Ralph Lauren. And that was big for us. Tyson was up and coming model, but he saw the brand and he was a good guy. He wanted to represent the Karl Kani brand. He helped to blow us up as well. So those type of things and those key moments are very important in fashion. Picking the right models and being able to bring your brand out to mainstream is a cool way. Yeah.
My final question. Nowadays with social media and the fact that people can literally create their own clothing at home, and there are so many young designers that are hungry for it and trying to break into mainstream, what advice do you have? Because it's so different now. It's a completely different world.
It is a different world, but to me it's like a little simpler now as well. Because think about it, we grew up in an era where there was no Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram. It was impossible for us to communicate the way we're communicating now. It was hard for somebody from New York to see what's going on in London, or London to see what's going on in Brooklyn, or people from all over the world now are connected through social media. So if you come up with something hot, you really could get your stuff out there to millions of people via social media. Something goes viral. But here's the key: what to do to make something go viral? Now, that's the $1 million question. You know what I'm saying? That's when it gets deep. And that's what separates people that make it and people that don't. Because everybody can say they want it. What are you going to do to get it? What kind of ideas you want to come up with to make yourself different than everybody else? And again, if it's so easy, then everybody will be successful. You know what I'm saying? So you got to dig deep, no sleep. And let me tell you when you know you got something going on. When you start feeling that pain in your stomach, that pain in your shoulder, that pain in your heart of just being thinking. It's be onto something, because you got to put every energy into what you want to get what you want out of life, for sure.
Incredible. Oh, Coconut, you are a living legend, and just the fact that you took your time to talk to us today, I'm so honored. Wait, you need to see the trip today. Do you want to see the list?
I want to see it.
Okay, cool. I am wearing. Wait, I don't know if you can see. Can you see?
I see it. There you go. You got the patch. I see it.
Is it a vibe? Is it a vibe?
That's the whole vibe. I love it. I love it. It's dope.
Oh my god. Okay.
Guess what else I want to do too? I want you to give away something to somebody lucky. One guy and one female outfit to someone. I don't know how you want to pick them, but you do it and let me know.
We're gonna make that happen. That's so amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. I'll stay on the line.
Yes. Well, take care.
Thank you. All right, Kim. Bye.
Coconut, are you kidding?